to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles, compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles, go take care of your business. Success Chronicles, it's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. Today, we have Dr. Julie Ducharme with us, a great lady, an amazing entrepreneur. Been blessed and fortunate to achieve some really neat things in her life. I'm so thankful to have her on this episode. So first off, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Good deal. Well, let's dive into it. I know off air, we talked about a little bit about your journey and your story, but if you don't mind sharing your story with the audience and tracking your story till now.
Yeah, I guess the best place to start is when I was younger, I found a lot of success in sports, and I was really wanting to go on to play sports in college. My parents had said to me, hey, we can't foot a bill 40, 50, 60,000 a year for college. You got to figure it out. And so I became very motivated. I got scholarships. I got fully scholarship to play volleyball and basketball. Headed to college, super excited. In fact, I was probably the most excited student in English class. English class isn't the most exciting thing. And so I was very excited. I got back one of my first papers I wrote in class. And same thing again. I was so excited. I flip over my paper and it's a D-. And I'm like, what? I was an AB student in high school. What's going on? So I head to the professor and I think I'm going to be a good student. I'm going to ask what I did wrong. I'm going to do better. I walk into his office and say, hey, I wanted to ask you about my paper. And he looks at me and he says, Julie, you're just not smart enough to be in college. You should drop out. And it was really shocking for a young athlete who had a full ride scholarship. This was my dream. And not only was I not smart, but I was so not smart, I should drop out of college.
He done messed up now. I'm telling you can't do it. You messed up, professor.
Yeah. And so I did what any good young girl would do. I called my mother and cried. Yeah. And she did what any good mother would do. She said, he's an idiot, go get a tutor. So practical advice from a mother, right?
That's it.
So that was kind of one of my first devastating blows. And the reason I share that is because words are really powerful. And when you're chasing your dreams, it's amazing how we will listen more to someone who could care less about us than we will listen to the people who love us. And so as I went on for the next 10 years of my life, I got my degree. I went on and played professional ball. I won national titles. I went on and got a master's, a doctorate. I was a chair over 3 huge programs, eventually a dean over 20 universities across the US. I had started 3 companies. And in my mind, I kept hearing, you're not smart enough. And so I ran into this professor about 10 years to the date from when that happened. And he remembered me. And he said, hey, Julie, how's it going? And in that few moments, you see in the movies where everyone has the reflecting back, I'm seeing all these things that I've done in 10 years. And in that moment, I went, I am smart enough. And so I looked at him and I said, that's Dr. Julie Ducharme, and I'm doing just fine. And it was a great moment. We don't always get a chance to address the people who may have been this barrier in our journey. Yeah. But it was a great moment because I had to realize for 10 years, I did all this amazing stuff. And in my mind, I kept thinking, if I get one more degree, if I just start one more company, if I just get one more award or win one more national title, then I'll be worthy. And I realized that all that time, I was always worthy. And so I share that because a lot of times people are thinking, oh, I'm not smart enough to get into business. I'm not good enough to get into business, or I'm not worthy enough. And I realized a long time ago that I just had to step up to the table. A lot of times I was sitting in the back, not raising my hand, keeping quiet because I thought I wasn't worthy to be at the table. And so, here I am really going into 20 years now that I've started all this. My oldest business is 18 years old. And my other one's not too far behind it. And then of course I mentioned that I just started a nonprofit college for veterans, which is about 6 years old, probably my biggest challenging feat that I've done. But I look back at that and I think, there were so many people cheering me on, but I let these powerful words just drive me. And
Yeah.
so, today I've flipped the switch on that. And so I go around and I speak to many different groups, in particular, a lot of women groups, about empowerment and helping them find their path to success. And I use those examples. And that's one of many people told me I shouldn't do what I'm doing. Girls don't do business. I applied for a job one time and they said the English department's down the hall. We don't hire women for business. Long list of things along the way. And the funny thing with all of this was that by the time I was a dean over all these colleges, I was not, I think, barely just turning 30 years old. I was very young for my career I had my doctorate by the time I was 30. And I even got harassed for that. People would come in and say, oh, I'm looking for Dr. Ducharme. I'd say, I'm Dr. Ducharme. I said, no, Dr. Ducharme's a male. Nope, last I checked, it's me. I had people say, I can't work for someone as young as you, and they would leave. So a lot of different things like that along the way because I was younger in what I was doing. And, lots of barriers, but I just, I always talk about, these barriers come, and when you get knocked down, you have to decide, am I going to get back up and keep going, or am I just going to sit down and give up? And I'm not the sit down and give up type of person. And thank goodness I'm very competitive. Now, definitely there were some points where it took me a bit to get back up, but I did get back up. And so, it's a little bit of my story and my journey. And I like to share that because I know a lot of times that resonates with people because they say, yeah, someone told me I wasn't smart enough, or someone told me I wasn't good enough. And, it's always shocking to me, but it shouldn't be, how much really talented people believe that and often will settle with that. And so, but I feel blessed today, and I'm thankful that those things were said to me because it forced me to go outside of that. So I could almost thank the professor for being a jerk to me, because even though it was a horrible thing, it built character in me and made me decide who I really wanted to be.
And it's crazy how sometimes in our life, or most times in our life, the things that are the toughest for us to deal with end up being the biggest blessings for us and learning lessons for us in our life.
True. Yeah, so true. And being a mother now, I think, gosh, I don't want my kids to go through that, but
They've got to learn. Yeah.
It's character building. And during this whole pandemic, my daughter had worked really hard to get a lot of different things into some groups that she had to study and get in, and they all got canceled. And I thought, wow, she's getting a lesson that life is not fair, even if you do everything right.
That's it.
And she took it in stride, which was great. But I thought, yeah, you can do everything right and still it may not be fair, and you just have to decide how bad you want it,
I love that.
So, it was a real lesson in the last couple of months. And my business of 18 years has been shut down since March, which is tough because, here's my baby. I built this successful business. But as we talked about, I'm working on my fourth company. I thought, well, shoot, if that one's shut down, I'm just going to open another one. And luckily there's no rule that you can't, open too many.
There you go. That's it. I love it. Well, what are 3 things that you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Well, obviously my business is, because I feel like that's no easy feat, especially today. I'm obviously proud of my career in sports. That was a passion of mine. And I still today, coach kids. I coach younger kids. I coach my kids clubs and do lots of, working with coaches. So that's a passion of mine. And, I'm also very proud of my nonprofit because it serves veterans transitioning out of the military. And, I think it's important that we give back to the community, and it's no easy feat running a nonprofit, trying to get the funding and things you need. But for me, that I feel like, me being able to give back is so important. And so those are 3 things that are really important to me. They're my passion. So, those are areas that I love.
Good stuff. Just hearing your story, the things that you've grown through, blown me away. Just hearing the things that you're proud of. I would consider all of those things to be hugely successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
Well, if you had asked me like 20 years ago, I would have been like, oh, making lots of money, being popular, being a celebrity. But today, my idea of success is really just owning and loving something that you do and you're passionate about. I mean, I think about Mother Teresa. Did she ever make any money? No, but she was about serving the people. And when she died, hundreds of thousands of people walked miles upon miles just to see her. And I was really moved by that because I thought, wow, she didn't need the money or the celebrity. All she needed was her. And it showed, I mean, they said people walked for days and days just to see her. And I thought, how powerful is that? And how many people would do that for me? And so, I think success is really just loving and having something that you love to do, because if you love to do it, it's not work. And if you're able to do that, I mean, that's success for me, because I really don't think money is ever going to get you success. It'll get you a lot of things, don't get me wrong. But, and I'm not saying that you can't measure your success by money, but I've found for me, measuring success is what I love to do.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, before we get off, if you don't mind sharing with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love with all of the amazing things you have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have two books out, Leading by My Ponytail, Why Can't I Wear Pink and Be the President? And also Authentically You, Empowering Your Way to Success. Those are both on Amazon, and you can do my name, Dr. Julie Ducharme, or the books. You can go to my drjulieducharme.com page, and that has like all my info and everything. And then, of course, on Facebook, I'm Dr. Julie Ducharme. On Instagram, Julie Taylor Ducharme, because surprisingly, there's a lot of Julie Ducharmes out there, and a couple Dr. Julie Ducharmes. So on Instagram, it's Julie Taylor Ducharme. And then, of course, if you're all about wanting to get empowered, we have our Lead and Empower Her tour, which goes around the country and speaks to women and helps give them training and also workshops on how to be successful. And that's called leadandempowerher.com.
There it is. Thanks so much again for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Truly appreciate it, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Go get it.